Just a quick recap of the game. Obviously, you look at it after each practice, after each game. We always talk about in the room, seeking the truth and the hard truth. And the hard truth is that we didn't live up to what our standard was, especially from a field position standpoint. We looked to dominate that aspect of the game and not just win it. And we didn't do our part on that end. We had 2 holding penalties on kickoff return. We did end up having a muff punt that resulted in a touchdown. And, you look at that field position battle, we found ourselves behind the sticks, backed up a couple of times with the offense starting at the 12-yard line, starting inside the 15. That's a direct result of us. And, we tried to battle back. Mr. Wright hit some pretty good punts. Saw some good coverage from young guys out there. But overall, it just wasn't good enough. But, first preseason game, a lot of young guys getting their feet wet out there. And we'll look to build off of that.
So what happened on the offensive side? Was that a miscommunication?
Yeah, Thayer's he has to understand that if it's a short ball and he's not able to get to it, he has to give a poison or a Peter call to get those zeros out of the way. And if he can't get to it, then he has to move with some urgency to get himself out of the way to prevent it from hitting himself. We just didn't move quick enough to get out of the way for that ball to end up kind of hitting us right there.
The decision to use Dwayne as the kick returner, and I guess how did you assess that?
Yeah, so that good question, Matt, because it was actually his first time ever returning kickoff returns, and I looked at him. We had a good discussion about it. He wanted to do it. I felt good about it. You kind of look at it. Ty Chandler is the next guy up there, but he's starting at the running back position, so you don't really want to put him back there. And so Debo was the next option for us between him and Copeland. We'll kind of handle those duties moving forward throughout the preseason. But Debo's gaining some confidence back there. I got to meet with him some more just so he kind of understands what the vision of it is and how we want to set returns up and how we want to be able to set up blocks and hit it.
Was it like the holding calls or what kind of stands out?
Yeah, I would probably say the holding calls were probably the most frustrating just because it happened to what I would consider to be one of our best blockers in Will Cuenca. He was probably he is always been really, you look at it last year on the Patriots return for a touchdown that we had, he had one of the biggest blocks on that return, and I feel good and confident about him going up one-on-one against anybody in this league, and for him to have those 2 back-to-back penalties right there, just really uncharacteristic of him, and he was very apologetic of it, and unfortunately he kind of suffered an injury as well, so it's kind of sitting on his mental, and that's something he'll have to kind of battle and get through.
What did you see from Najee Thompson? Obviously, he had that play in the game that stood out.
Yeah, flash. So, it's funny. I've been watching this player for quite some time now, and he is, solely, he lives and breathes special teams. That's who he is at the core. And so for him to finally be able to carry it over from what I saw on tape and from the collegiate level to putting it on display Thursday night only solidifies, who he is as a person. The bright lights aren't too big for him. And a lot of people might not realize how difficult of a play that is to make with the timing of it, making sure you're not shooting too soon, the entry attack angle that you have to take to put yourself in a position to make it, making sure you're not, targeting the guy, the returner, in the head or neck area, but shooting low below the hips right there, making a great wrap and roll tackle. But he's been doing an unbelievable job, and we'll see if he continue to stack plays up, stack days up at practice. We got these joint practices coming up with Tennessee. That'll be another, step for him to take and keep building off of what he's got going. He's playing really, really confident right now.
How uncommon is it for some guy that young to lean so hard into special teams?
I wouldn't say it's too uncommon. I think the biggest thing is guys just have to know what their role is, and that's really the first step of it. And, for me as a coach, I think it's very important that you really ID job responsibility early on what your true role is going to be on this team. Obviously, we're in the training camp phase, so it's important that you're focused on offense and defense, and we'll kind of start to dial in more on what your job responsibility is once, the roster gets cut down, the 53-man roster gets decided. But for him, he's always been a special teams guy at the core, and, he's coming to this league, and he knows what his role is and where he stands in order to make this football team.
Did you give him the nickname Flash?
No, he actually got that. He got that in high school when he broke the 200-meter record. He got named Flash.
On the kick that Dwayne tried to return and got absolutely obliterated there, do you want that? Do you want him to return that one, or is that one he should have fair caught?
Quite frankly, I want to return him. I want him to return them all, Judd. We are in the evaluation phase of it, right? So we're trying to evaluate everyone on the football field. Unless it's getting kicked out of bounds or it's kicked 10, 8, 9 yards deep. We really want all of those guys to go and think about returning the football right there so we can evaluate everyone on the field. And where he did get hammered at, there was a misassignment on that play that shouldn't have happened. And so, Debo ended up paying for it. But he's got great contact balance.
For the game Saturday, is Jack going to handle the kicking duties in that one? Or?
Yes, yeah. So, it's unfortunate Jack didn't get an opportunity to kick, but we have a good layout set up for where he will be able to, for sure, kick on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. He'll get an opportunity to kick in front of the entire team when we do these joint practices. Both guys will get an opportunity to kick. And so I can't wait to see how Jack responds to that, to kind of be in that joint practice element and then be kicking it at home at US Bank. Cool. Appreciate y'all.